What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
Rudra smiled with satisfaction, raising his right hand triumphantly to the sky. It was a clear declaration of victory. Feldway collapsed to his knees, blood pouring from his mouth. The bright red liquid starkly contrasted against his once pristine white robes.
It can't be. I am the one who...
You've always been too arrogant, Feldway. You've always believed you had to be the best at everything. That's why you keep missing the most important things.
Don't make me laugh. I don't need to hear that from someone who is just a shadow of their former self.
You're not wrong. That's why I can see things clearly now.
The victor and the defeated locked eyes, both falling silent for a moment. Feldway was the first to break it.
There won't be a next time. This loss will be your last.
With that, he stood up as if the wound he'd just suffered was non-existent. If not for the crimson stains spreading across his robes, one might think Rudra's strike had been a mere illusion.
You're as stubborn as ever. But no matter how many times you come back, I'll keep winning, so go ahead.
They exchanged glances once more before looking away. Feldway turned his back to Rudra and instructed Mai, who had been waiting nearby, to vanish from the scene using instantaneous movement. With the material area and the royal capital's barrier both destroyed, there was no way to stop their escape. However, it was wise not to chase after them. Despite his injury, Feldway still had considerable strength left. Though his defeat at Rudra's hands had shaken him mentally, his combat abilities remained formidable. If not for the shattering of the invincible castle guard, he wouldn't have retreated so easily. Feldway left with a vow of revenge, determined never to forget the humiliation of this day. Now, as for Rudra.
Great job, Rudra.
Velgrind pulled Rudra into a tight embrace, pressing his face against her chest, leaving him in no position to complain. Or perhaps it was something else entirely. Upon closer inspection, he was blushing and his eyes were unfocused. This wasn't Rudra anymore. Masayuki had returned. He had exhausted all his soul power when unleashing the Nova Braid, making it difficult to maintain the Rudra persona. That's why he had allowed Feldway to escape. In truth, Rudra had held on through sheer willpower until Feldway had left. Hinata approached Masayuki, now free from Velgrind's hold.
It's a pleasure to meet you, First Sama. I'm Hinata Sakaguchi. Before you go, I wanted to say a few words.
But before Hinata could finish her greeting, the sound of the crowd began to grow louder. The people, thrilled by Rudra's strength and believing Masayuki had finally shown his true power, began to cheer. Though they misunderstood the situation, to those unaware of the truth, it was a valid assumption. Seeing the battle was over, they rushed toward Masayuki. As they got closer, they formed a circle around him, led by Minutes and the others who were trying to hold the crowd back.
Wow, Masayuki-san is amazing.
I've never seen anything like it. The true beacon of light.
Yeah, I didn't fully understand what was happening, but it was incredible.
And so, naturally, all the glory went to Masayuki. Thanks to Reiner and the others making the video accessible, a large part of the capital's population had witnessed everything.
No, that wasn't really me. Well, it was me, but...
Masayuki's thoughts were in disarray. However, he activated his nothing happened skill and managed to maintain a calm expression that seemed to say, it's all in a day's work, right?
How did this even happen?
That was the question swirling in Masayuki's mind. From his perspective, Rudra had done everything. Even though everyone was praising him as incredible, it didn't feel like it was deserved. It was hard for him to accept such accolades without feeling like an imposter, but the crowd wasn't aware of his inner turmoil.
Thank you for your hard work. You really shined out there, Masayuki.
Velgrind handed him a jet black, gold-embroidered emperor's robe, and as he put it on, he tried to gather his thoughts. Being the center of attention was embarrassing, but he also sensed that trouble was brewing. And sure enough, the knights of the capital had arrived.
Great, this is going to be a headache.
Minutes, acting as Masayuki's escort, took on the role of negotiator. He appeared to be declining the knights' request, suggesting that they should speak with the emperor's representatives first. Masayuki listened in, feeling grateful for his dependable escorts, but the conversation was unsettling. It seemed that the king had been assassinated, but Masayuki had nothing to do with it. As he overheard talk of an important witness, his anxiety grew. Although he had endured many challenges, he realized now that claiming to be fully prepared for anything was an overstatement. While he had grown used to the tension of public appearances, Masayuki was still a bit of a nervous wreck. And being implicated in a murder was the last thing he wanted.
I'm sorry. It looks like you've been dragged into our mess.
Hinata, noticing that Rudra had reverted back to Masayuki, gently apologized.
Huh?
Reiner killed King Egil and tried to pin the blame on me.
No way, thought Masayuki.
This is a huge mess.
It was overwhelming to be caught up in such a serious situation. But now, there was no escaping it. Even if he wanted to voice his frustrations, there was no one to hear them. After all, Masayuki was now the most significant figure in the room. With no other option, he had to take charge. As the crowd continued to cheer, Masayuki stepped forward. Following the routine he had practiced, he tilted his head slightly and looked down. After a brief 2-second pause, he raised his head and faced the crowd. This simple gesture sent the audience into a frenzy of excitement. It was remarkably effective.
Just as Rimuru-san told me.
Indeed, Masayuki's current moves were the result of Rimuru's, or more accurately, CL's, coaching. By incorporating gestures calculated to win the crowd's favor, the effect of his skill was amplified. And now, with the evolution into the King of Heroes, the impact was even more profound.
Everyone, please settle down. I need you to stay calm and explain what's happened.
As Masayuki spoke softly, the previously excited crowd fell silent instantly. The entire area was enveloped in quiet, like a retreating tide. Masayuki was inwardly shocked at the overwhelming effect of his influence. This was the result of just a little performance coaching. With nothing else to do, he decided to continue with the act.
Okay, don't rush. Take it slow. Even if you stumble or misspeak, it's all right. You can always recover. Was that how it went?
Ever since he took on the role of emperor, Masayuki had frequently sought Rimuru's advice. Many others supported Masayuki, and he had grown more comfortable playing the part. Those watching closely never realized just how nervous he actually was.
Everyone, what is right and what is wrong? I believe it's clear from what you see before you. If you are wise, you will find the answer without needing me to spell it out. I ask you to trust in that truth, and I, too, want to believe in you.
Masayuki wasn't entirely sure he was making sense. Even so, he was confident it would have a strong impact. That was the power of his King of Heroes. He might not have known the right answer himself, but at the very least, he wanted to avoid turning the crowd against him. It seemed like he managed that, so he decided to steer the situation in a cautious way, ensuring he couldn't be held responsible later.
Perfect. I didn't say anything too specific, so no one can blame me if things go wrong.
He mentally congratulated himself. As Masayuki spoke, the previously chaotic crowd suddenly grew calm. At that moment, Minutes approached Masayuki with a knight by his side. The knight was a towering figure, clad head to toe in metal armor, with a stern expression. Masayuki felt a pang of fear. But to his surprise, the knight saluted him with utmost respect.
It is a tremendous honor to be in the presence of His Majesty Masayuki, champion of my kingdom of Ingratia and Emperor of the Great Eastern Empire.
Ah, yes.
Masayuki, feeling overwhelmed, simply nodded. But realizing he needed to say something, he addressed the knight.
King Eggle.
He was about to mention that Hinata-san wasn't responsible for the king's death, but the knight cut him off.
Please, rest easy. With His Majesty Masayuki vouching for her, any suspicions about Hinata-dano will be dismissed. In fact, we Knights of Ingratia would never doubt her.
The knight burst into hearty laughter.
So then, do we know who the culprit is?
Hinata's gaze shifted to Prince Elric. He had been cowering behind a fountain ever since the battle started, but Moss had moved him aside. It wasn't out of kindness, it was a directive from Testarossa. The move was meant to secure the culprit, ensuring he didn't escape. Anyone with a sharp mind could piece together what was happening. The king might have been murdered, but was Hinata really the one responsible? These questions began to surface in the minds of those present. Prince Elric was certainly well liked, but by observing the events, the truth became clear. Masayuki was clueless about the situation, but Hinata's focus on Prince Elric spoke volumes. When Elric finally looked up, his eyes met Hinata's.
It's all over, I'm finished.
Elric suddenly started laughing as Masayuki stared at him. Then, in an unexpected twist, he confessed to his wrongdoings.
Wait, what? I have no idea what's happening, but what is going on?
It turned out that Elric had mistakenly assumed Masayuki had figured everything out, leading him to self-destruct. Masayuki, still in the dark, chose to mask his confusion and continue acting as if he had everything under control. And so, the situation unraveled in a dramatic and unexpected way.
It appears Masayuki-sama has identified the culprit and resolved the matter.
Prince Elric killed His Majesty the King, his own father.
The mastermind behind it all was Reiner, the former commander of the Knight Order.
That's why Hinata-sama.
Reiner was the fool who messed up during the council meeting, wasn't he?
Oh, how disgraceful for the former commander of the Knights of Ingratia.
So, he was plotting revenge against Hinata-sama by teaming up with a monster?
But our Masayuki-sama saw through it all and rescued Hinata-sama from that trap.
As expected of our hero.
Even after becoming the emperor of the Eastern Empire, he hasn't forgotten us.
Prince Elric's confession was the turning point. The crowd didn't need any further explanation from Masayuki or Hinata, they were convinced.
Hooray for Masayuki-sama.
Glory to our Masayuki-sama.
These cheers erupted spontaneously and quickly spread among the people, forming a chorus.
Masayuki! Masayuki!
In no time, the royal capital was echoing with the familiar chants. With a hesitant wave and a twitching smile, Masayuki acknowledged the crowd. The contrast between Hinata's slightly bewildered expression and Velgrin's pleased demeanor was clear. Inside, Masayuki was mentally exhausted, inwardly shouting, "I give up, whatever happens, happens." But that was just par for the course. Incidentally, the next day, Masayuki experienced intense pain from the aftereffects of hosting Rudra along with a range of other reasons, despite the use of healing magic, one of these being an extremely rare condition known as soul pain, though he had no way of knowing that at the time. Michael had come to realize just how naive he had been. Initially, he had dismissed the demon lord Rimuru as unimportant. That perception shifted dramatically when Rimuru defeated Velgrind. From that moment on, Michael saw him as a true adversary and took greater precautions. Still, he believed Rimuru would not pose much of a challenge in a direct confrontation. But now, Michael was forced to acknowledge his mistake. After all, Rimuru had managed to enter the suspended world, a place accessible only to a select few, without any authorization.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel.
Shout out to the new members of AnimeKouhai supporters: Bismarck Munoz, Arian Brooker, Jerry Sladek, Kamal Luke, Izat, Mr. Santo, Akshay Devat, Alfonso Smith, M. Wei Jun. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.